can't I ever read in peace?
Sorry, that was me. A little unorthodox, but I had to get your attention somehow.
Why doesn't just anyone just walk through the door?
Ignoring that comment. But I have a Power Rangers question for you.
Go ahead.
Why do you only ever talk about the first 3 seasons and only negative talk about the others? Seems like you're picky about what you review when it comes to the franchise.
Well, I've done, the pilot for Jungle Fury, but that's mainly because my editor wanted me to. But yeah, you're right. I don't do a lot of, talking about the series outside of the first 3 Mighty Morphin. So, what did you have in mind?
How about the one that turned 20 years old this year? Dino Thunder.
Oh dear God, I'm old!
This year actually marks 20 years since the show aired in February 2004, and Dino Thunder is the 12th season of Power Rangers and took its Sentai footage from Bakurai Sentai Aba Ranger, and was yet another dinosaur-themed season. The series follows Connor, Ethan, and Kira under the mentorship of a returning Tommy Oliver as they try to stop the dinosaur hybrid Mesogog.
Day of the Dino borrows its name from the first episode of Mighty Morphing, and it's a typical Power Rangers pilot where we meet every character as they're thrust into being heroes, regardless if they're ready for it or not. The show itself was the first Power Ranger series to be a part of ABC Family, and as a part of the Jetix block on Toon Disney.
So, I guess with the help of Emcee here, let's take a look at the pilot of Dino Thunder, Day of the Dino.
The series begins with good old Tommy Oliver, now wearing black, running from this season's putty patrol, the Pteranodons, holding his own well before the island starts exploding, forcing him to slow motion jump. We then jump to some years later, which it at least has to be 10 years since he's apparently a paleontologist with a PhD.
Carry the 3. Okay. Tommy Oliver was born in 1979. That means Tommy is 25 years old. He's been retired as a ranger for 7 years. In that time, he managed to not only get an undergraduate degree from MIT of all places, but then he's got to get a master's on top of that, which is another couple of years. Then he's getting a PhD, which is between 5 and 7 years. The median age for a beginning doctor of paleontology is 35 years old, and that's if he has done literally nothing else in his career. But he's also a full-fledged teacher, so there's at least a teaching certificate program, if not another completely separate degree. Are you telling me that Tommy Oliver of the Swiss cheese memory was able to do all of that in 7 years? Enough to also have been a mad scientist on a James Bond supervillain island? Like, I'm glad Tommy is in this season because it's a great throwback to the original Mighty Morphin days, but come on! They could have at least given us something a little more plausible. They couldn't have at least made him a paleontology student? Of all of the ways Tommy is a Mary Sue, this is probably the least of them. I mean, he is, after all, the ultimate ranger, but this is the one that annoys me the most.
Are you done yet?
For now.
Sheesh, and they say I rant a lot.
We meet the school's principal that is clearly being forced to teach as she actively hates children and wants them to suffer, which makes sense when you later find out she's the lead henchwoman later on in the season. Tommy meets this season's comedy duo, Devin and Cassidy.
Well, you don't really look old enough to be a teacher.
See? Cassidy gets me.
Sounds to me like you're just jealous of Tommy's success.
How dare you be so accurate?
We then meet the future Red Ranger, Connor McKnight, who is forcing a friend to skip school just so he has a goalie to practice with.
Don't worry about Randall. She's a woman. And women are just grown-up girls. Need I say more?
I think you've said quite enough, Mr. McKnight.
2004. When writers thought that anti-women characters were going to become popular, and we're still supposed to cheer for people like this. How the hell am I supposed to cheer for a Red Ranger who is openly, constantly sexist and condescending to his teammates? Connor is an asshole.
No dice. It's not happening. Randall then completely assaults the kid being forced to goalie.
Alright, I'm calling the cops. Assault on a minor does not count. Neither did that goal.
We then meet future Blue Ranger Ethan, who's early aughts cliché nerd tech wizard as he's planning a prank with the sprinklers. Kira, the future Yellow Ranger, then literally gets in trouble just for playing her guitar on school grounds and blatantly insults Kira.
You know, I had teachers like this growing up, and it's teachers like that that make people want to quit school as a whole and not pursue anything in their life. I understand it's done, to show how much of a bad guy she is, but come on.
A teacher this horrible absolutely has to be one of the bad guys. There's just no other choice. The principal then volunteers Tommy to watch the teens in detention, but because of a museum trip he needs to take, he brings the kids along with him, so we get the Breakfast Club cliche of shoving students into detention to get them to mingle. However, the museum is closed, so Tommy has them search the premises, and they begin arguing with each other before falling into a sinkhole.
Fall in a giant sinkhole.
Wow. What a hole.
Tommy then comes face to face with a horribly CGI dinosaur.
Did he just kick a T-Rex?
Yes, he did, because Tommy Oliver is fucking awesome. May he rest in peace.
Mary Sue. The T-Rex chases Tommy in his Jeep as the kids search the area for some way to get out, mocking each other along the way, and Kira stands up for herself against Connor's misogyny. The T-Rex then turns out to be a robot as the kids find a secret room behind the skeleton before finding the area the Dino Gems are being held and just decide to take them.
We meet our season's villain, Mesagog, once his island resurfaces, sending his troops of Pteranodrones at the teens. This triggers their fight or flight, but due to Kira tripping, they end up fully attacked. This activates all of their civilian powers, with Kira becoming Black Canary, Ethan gaining hard skin, and Connor gaining super speed.
Okay, it's my turn to rant a little bit. You got to rant on Tommy, I'm going to rant on this. I do not like civilian powers within Power Rangers. I think they're unnecessary, and I think they take away from, the Rangers having their powers. Especially when 90% of the time, I don't think they ever actually use their powers in Power Ranger form. I understand, the SPD having powers because, they're part alien. But just I don't understand. I don't like them. There's no reason for them. And I just think they take away from actually having Power Rangers. Rant over.
The teens decide to keep it all a secret, and the next day Kira decides to drop out of the entire thing, but as Cassidy is questioning why the three of them are even speaking to each other, Kira is kidnapped through a portal. They then run to see Tommy finding his little secret behind another T-Rex skeleton.
I wonder if that secret entrance has bat poles to slide down instead of stairs.
Yeah, it's like right next to the dragon signal where they can shine it into the sky. If you're gonna rip off Batman, you might as well go full out.
The kids find Tommy while Kira is now captured by Mesagog, ending part 1. Tommy then explains he is the one that created the Tyrannodrones and learns they have the gems. Kira nervously jokes with Mesagog, then comes face to face with Elsa and Zeltrax, trying to defend herself before finding the Invisiportal landing on their car.
I mean, she's not just gonna fall out of the sky and land right in front of us. Huh?
You know, I wish stuff would just fall out of the sky for me, too. I could really go for a sandwich right about now.
Haha, no sandwich for you. Me, on the other hand...
Oh, you meanie!
This is not a good sandwich.
Haha, your sandwich is bland. It's a blandwich.
The group get attacked, so Tommy fights Zeltrax while the kids fight the Tyrannodrones, learning how to use their individual powers, forcing Zeltrax to retreat. It goes to the next day during class as Mesagog releases Biozords against the city. This makes Tommy finally explain what's going on, offering the kids their power morphers, letting them know they wouldn't be chosen if it wasn't for a good reason.
We then finally get the first morph of the season, and it's not quick before they get their signature weapons for the show, as they begin kicking butt and even quicker combine those weapons to blast Zeltrax away. Once the Zords are wild, they one by one tame them in order to calm them down from destroying the city.
With Tommy's teachings, the Rangers then create the Dino Megazord and quickly destroy Zeltrax's ship. Of course, pissing off Mesagog. The pilot then ends on a high note, with the team finally fully formed and supporting each other. The first episode of any Power Ranger series is not the best to judge the entire series on. Day of the Dino is a pretty slow start to what is actually a pretty solid nostalgia-driven tribute to Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Having such a small Power Rangers team, the characters all get some pretty good character development over the season. I really think this is the season if you want to introduce someone who has only ever watched the original show to newer teams, this is the one you go with.
I personally really love Dino Thunder. Growing up, when I realized that Tommy was coming back, it made me want to rewatch the series again, because I had honestly stopped watching at that point. However, it is not the best season, but I don't think it's a bad season, especially once, Tommy gets his black suit. We're not going to talk about the invisibility. And the introduction to the White Ranger.
There, a mostly positive review about a season that wasn't the first 3.
Yep, and we didn't even get to see Jason David Frank don the black costume or listen to my rant about Haley being proposed as a lesbian, but then the company saying no. Hero, are you okay?
I'm trying to stay positive.
Is your eye actually twitching because you can't be a negative Nancy?
No! Why would you say that?
Girl, you gotta relax a little. It could be worse. I could have made you sit through Operation...
Good night, everybody. I'm your superhero critic. I'll stay super as long as you stay awesome, and bye.
Wait, come back here.
Nope, I'm done.
Well then.
Bye, Felicia.
Of the right, defenders want to fight. Dino Rangers roar. your school.